Hi everyone, welcome back to Deanna Creates. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you some of my favorite art supplies that I use in my mixed media art and in my watercolor and some of my craft projects too. So let's just get started. So first off, I hope you guys all had a very Merry Christmas and that you are looking forward to 2023. So first off, let me share with you some of my favorite art journals. So I really like this Strathmore brand of art journals, and you can get these just about anywhere, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, you can order them online. And I have two. This is my watercolor journal. So I strictly do watercolor in here, and it is just kind of a place where I practice and just play around with techniques and, you know, that kind of thing, just to get me going. And it's a place where I can play and learn, and I don't have to, you know, worry about that it's, you know, I'm messing up a canvas or something like that. So I really like this. This is 140-pound watercolor paper in here, and I really like it. They also have a mixed media one, and this is what I typically use for my mixed media. There's a nice sturdy cover on here, and I like to decorate my cover when I start a new art journal. And the paper in here is a 90-pound paper, and so it's a really good weight of paper to take, you know, all the different mediums and all the different things that I use in mixed media. So if you're looking to start somewhere with an art journal and you weren't sure, because there's so many beautiful brands out there and so many different kinds, I just wanted to share with you guys, as these are my favorites, if you needed an idea. So then the next thing that I want to share is one of my favorite tools, and I've been using these for, gosh, probably 15 years or so. And these are the Faber-Castell Pip pens. This is the brush, and then this is just the big one, and then this is just the regular size one. These are beautiful pens. They are India ink. They are waterproof, and they are great for so many things. I primarily use them for shading in my projects when I'm doing mixed media or if I'm working in my art journal. I first learned about these from Christy Tomlinson back, oh gosh, a long time ago when I was taking her she art classes and some of her other classes. She used these in her paintings and in her projects, and I have loved them ever since. So I have a mix of colors. I got some new ones for Christmas. I got another set. This is just a 12, and it's just kind of the general colors. And then I also got a pastel one that I'm really excited about. Faber-Castell has come out with a lot of different sets from when I first started getting them. So pretty much whatever color palette you like, they probably have it. They even have some in metallic. So these are something great to have in with your supplies for any type of projects that you do. Another type of medium that I like to use in my art journal are these Neocolor crayons. These crayons are just beautiful. They're like a wax type crayon. You can use them straight. You can add water to them, and they make just the most beautiful color. The pigments are incredible, and they're just really fun to use. One of my favorite ways to use these is when I'm doing a painting or a piece, I like to add some of this Neocolor just kind of throughout my piece, and then I like to take a spray bottle and spray it and have the color run down a little bit. It just, like I said, the pigments are gorgeous, and again, they're just one of my favorite supplies to use. I have them in, this is just kind of the primary regular colors, and then I also have a more pastel, and I love them both. Another type medium that I like to use are, again, another product by Faber-Castell, and these are called gelatos. These are so fun to use, and they are just beautiful. The pigment on these two is gorgeous. They're kind of a waxy type pastel. When you put them onto your surface, you can reactivate them with water, and they are just really beautiful. That's how I like to use them. You can use them on top of mixed media just to add another bit of color to something. There's so many ways that you can use them. I like to just, if I'm working in my art journal and I'm doing something, you know, just kind of quick, I'm just kind of playing around, then I love to use these as a background. And I got a new set of these for Christmas in pastel colors. And oh my goodness, you guys, these pastel colors are beautiful. And I think they're going to be perfect for spring and summery more type projects. So I'm really excited to try these colors. All right. Another thing that I wanted to share with you is my favorite watercolor palette. Now there are lots and lots of different brands of watercolors. I don't think you can probably go wrong with any. This one just happens to be my favorite. I have a couple different ones, but this is the Angora watercolor set. This is made in Germany, and I love this set. The pigment on these is just beautiful. The pans, they go on really smooth, and the pans have not cracked, and I've had this palette for a long time, and I've used it a lot, and you can see they just seem to really last a long time. And I have some other palettes, and they have actually cracked where these have not, so I really like that. But they have them in smaller sets and bigger sets, but this is definitely my favorite watercolor. So if you're looking for, you know, to get started, or you're looking to try a watercolor palette, this is the one that I really like. Another thing that I really like and that I use is these pencils. These, you know, they're not watercolor, but they're just colored pencils. I like to use these in like the adult coloring books. I really like to use these. I will also use these when I'm making cards and tags. I'll use these colored pencils. They have a blender that goes with them, so you can put your color down, you can go over it with the blender, and it just makes this smooth, buttery color. It doesn't, you no longer see like the lines where you've colored. So these are my favorite. This is kind of a standard set. This is the 24 set, and there's a good array of colors in here. I also have a bigger set, a 72, I think, and it just gives you a wider range of colors. But these are by far my favorite coloring pencils. These are by Prismacolor. And the next thing is another color, and this is markers. I use markers a lot, again, in my card making. I use them when I'm stamping. I like to use these to color my stamps too. And I've used these for a really long time. When I first started in scrapbooking, which was a really long time ago, these were the first markers that I used, and I learned about these from a dear friend who was really good at scrapbooking, and I've used this brand ever since. I actually still have some of the originals from my original set, so they last a really long time. They have a brush tip and a fine tip, so that makes it great, you know, for just about any project that you want. This is a bright set, so these are a little bit different color palette than what I had, and again, I just love these. So if you're looking for a really good set of markers, this Le Plume, these are Marby brand, are a really great set of markers. Let's see, what else? So let's talk about pens. So when you're working in watercolor, what I like to do is I like to outline once I finished with a watercolor project, I like to outline it. And so you probably can't see it real well, but it helps it just to stand out a little bit. But I don't want a really harsh black line. And so I use these micron pens, and these are tiny. They come in all different sizes. This is a 0.1, a 0.3, and a 5, so it's 0.25, 0.35, and 0.45 milliliters. So they are really, really fine. And again, it just helps to add detail to your watercolor project and helps things just to kind of stand out a little bit. So that's what I use these for. I use these primarily in watercolor. For mixed media, I typically will use, this is a Papermate Inkjoy pen. It's a permanent pen, and it works really well on mixed media because, you know, in mixed media you have a lot more textures. Your paint is usually thicker. You know, you may have some other mediums on there, and this will go over just about any of those. It's a permanent pen, and you can find these just about anywhere. They're fairly inexpensive, and so this is what I use to add detail into mixed media, is this Papermate Inkjoy. And they come in different sizes too. And then the next thing is, I like when I'm working on my projects to add a little bit of white to there. And to do that, I like to use these Posca pens. This is in white. They come in a wide range of colors. I typically just get the white ones. And then also I will use this Jelly Roll pen. It's, of course, is a finer, you know, it has a finer point on it, and it gives a just, you know, a different detail look. But I get these off of Amazon. I don't know that it's just the Jelly Roll brand of these. And so both of these are my kind of go-to when I want to add white to my projects, which I usually always do add a hint of white somewhere, whether it's dots or hearts or lines or, you know, just little marks. Having a type of white pen is always something good to have in your art supplies. And then for drawing, I like to use just a graphite pencil. I really, really like these. I get these at Hobby Lobby. They come in, I think, like a 12-pack. And when they're running their, you know, Master's Touch 40% off, I think you can get this 12-pack of these graphite pencils for, I want to say, a couple dollars. So they work really well. I like the tip on them. I like how the pencil is, and so these are kind of my favorite graphite pencils that I use for drawing. And if you're going to be drawing, you need to have a really good eraser, and that especially when you're doing watercolor, you don't want to be able to see, you know, your pencil lines, or you don't want to be able to see where you've erased. And these are polymer erasers. These are by Pentel, and they're my favorite ones. But this is what it looks like used. And these, you guys, it's really amazing what a difference an eraser makes. But these will completely erase your lines. You won't see any pencil marks there at all. So if you're going to be doing any type of drawing, sketching, and then watercoloring or anything like that, then these are a go-to eraser for sure. And then, of course, some of these next ones, if you guys have followed me along for any time already, you know my Stickles Glitter Glue by Ranger. I love these. I use them so much in all kinds of different projects. This blue is actually the distressed one, so it's just not as sparkly, but it still, you know, gives the similar look. And then they have, of course, the glittery one that's really, really sparkly. So these Stickles Glitter Glue are just a go-to. They're a favorite of mine. And of course, my inks, my Tim Holtz Distress inks, the Ranger Archival inks. These are, again, as you guys know, a go-to of mine. I love these inks. I've had these inks for a really long time, and they have held up well. They haven't dried out. So they're really good. They're really good quality products as well. I also use the archival ink for stamping. This is pretty much the only type of ink, the only brand that I use when I'm doing stamping. And I love it. It just is a really, really good ink. So those are my stamping inks, my distressing inks. As you guys know, I use those. And then the last thing, almost the last thing, is my glue sticks. I like to use glue sticks when I am making cards or making tags, or, you know, sometimes in just some other type of projects I will use a glue stick, and I like both of these brands. This is the Elmer's Craft Bond, and I really like it as a glue stick, and then the Yoo-Hoo. I like them both. They both do a really good job, and so those are my go-to favorite glue sticks. And then last is paper. Scrapbook paper is one of my absolute most favorite supplies that I use in mixed media. I use it in my art journal. I use it, of course, you've seen me use it in some projects that we've done. But I love scrapbook paper. I will use scrapbook paper to be inspired. I can look at a beautiful page just like this, and I'm either inspired by the colors or to use as a background. I just love it. I really, really love scrapbook paper. And so that is something that you will see me using a lot, along with a bunch of these other supplies as we get more into mixed media and playing in our art journals and that type of thing that I'll be having coming up in the new year. So I encourage you guys to just look around and see what you have to use to begin creating with. I just wanted to share these just as some of my favorites. So if you happen to be, you know, looking around and trying to figure out, you know, well, where do I start? Because there's so many beautiful supplies out there. There's so many beautiful brands. And again, these are just some of my favorites. So I wanted to come on here and share with you guys. And then I wanted to just wrap this up because it is a new year and I'm so excited. I want to wish you guys all a very happy new year. I hope that 2023 is full of blessings and peace and love and joy, and that you start to create, if you haven't, and just feel how creating, no matter what you do, how it can just come in and just soothe your soul and just make you feel so happy and joyous. So I wish you all just a beautiful 2023. So love and light to you all, and I hope to see you again really soon.